Hello everyone, my name is Jiatong Zhong and my topic is about non-profit CEO salary in New Jersey. By February 2016, there were more than 1.5 million non-profit organizations in the United States, and these non-profit organizations contributed $900 billion to the U.S. economy, composing 5.4% of the country's total GDP. In New Jersey, there are more than 30,000 nonprofits. These nonprofits have over $37 billion annual expenses, and there are 314,000 employees and over 1.5 million volunteers in these organizations annually. And in 2015, the Center for Nonprofit Organizations found that which most affecting the development of nonprofit organizations in New Jersey, including cannot afford good enough staff and increased benefit or insurance cost. It shows that nonprofit organizations may facing difficulties in administration expenses, and in other words, nonprofit organizations cannot pay their employees enough salary with their budget. However, in recent years, there are many news about nonprofit organizations' CEO salary. The news show that other sides to the public. According to nonprofit organizations' compensation and benefit survey in 2014, the average salary of CEO was over 100,000, six-figure salary. And in 2012, the top-paid CEO was paid $3.3 million per year. And the salary was occupy 6% of the organization's total expenses. This compensation of CEO of nonprofit organizations become a controversial issues. On the one hand, nonprofit organizations are facing difficulty in administration expenses, but on the other hand, there were many nonprofit CEOs was paid enough and even overpaid. CEO is one of the most important person who is responsible for daily operating, employment of budget, and even the achievement of the organization's mission. Because of the power and responsibility of CEOs, the salary of them must be proper. For nonprofits, the Internal Revenue Service (IRS) have ruled that nonprofit CEOs should be received reasonable compensation. However, there is no specific and definite standards or proper measurement system for nonprofit CEO salary. So this study is trying to find what are the factors affecting nonprofit CEO salary. There are many previous research about CEO salary, and most of them are focusing on the average salaries nationwide. The charity CEO compensation study in 2014 examined that the salary at most 4,000 U.S. charities, and according to their study, the result from this table we can find that nonprofit CEO salary was mainly impacted by location and the budget size. Based on such background, this study is trying to analyze the salary of CEOs among 150 nonprofit organizations in New Jersey under similar budget size, $2 million or greater. This study will use the quantitative research method and a multiple linear regression to examine whether these 7 independent variables significantly affecting the non-profit CEO salary, including gender, length of service, education achievement, mission of organizations, total number of employees, service program ratio, and physical performance ratio. And among these 7 independent factors, gender, length of service, and education should be the 3 personal factors, individual factors. And mission of organizations, total number of employees, service or program ratio, and physical performance ratio are the 4 organizational factors. And this is the model and hypothesis of this study. The first hypothesis was male CEO salary is higher than that of female CEOs. And second, length of service has positively associated with non-profit salary. And education achievement is positively associated with non-profit CEO salary. And the salary of CEOs in higher sector is higher than others in lower sector. And fifth, the total number of employees is positively associated with non-profit CEO salary. And next, service program ratio is negatively associated with non-profit CEO salary. And last, physical performance ratio is positively associated with non-profit CEO salary. The data in this study is based on 2014 salary data provided on the organization's fiscal year 2014 forms 990s. Other information will be collected by reviewing our organization's financial report, which can be found on their official website, and the information of personnel will be found in their personnel website. For gender, male will be presented as 1 and female will present as 0. Length of service. In this study, length of service is based on the person's service length as CEO in current organizations, and the service length is calculated by years. Education achievement was divided into 4 degrees. First, high school graduate, second, bachelor's degrees, third, master degrees, and fourth, PhD. And the mission of organization was divided into 2 groups, higher sector and lower sector. The higher sector including education, arts, public benefit, and health, and the lower sector was including human service, religion, environment, and animal. This division was based on previous research, and the total number of employees can be found in Form 990's line 5. It mirrors in numbers, and the service or program ratio equals to service program expenses divided by total expenses, line 17 divided line 18. And when the ratio equals to 1, it means all the expenses of the organizations was put into service or programs. So we can indicate that service program ratio has negatively association with salary of CEOs. And the fiscal performance ratio is the total revenue divided by total expenses. It shows the financial management performance of the organizations. The fiscal performance ratio of 1 means that total revenue equals to total expenses. And when the fiscal performance ratio were higher than 1, the organization would have more reserves. On the contrary, it means the organization has deficit. Higher fiscal performance ratio reflects better financial status. In this study, fiscal performance ratio and CEO salary should have a positive correlation. Descriptive statistics. This table shows the mean, minimum, maximum, and the standard deviation of the 8 variables in this study. CEO salary is the dependent variable. The average salary of nonprofit CEO is about $287,000. And the minimum and the lowest salary is less than 40,000, and the maximum was over $2 million. So the huge differences between CEO salary shows that another significance of this study. And this is the regression results of this study. Included 5 variables which has significant correlation with CEO salary. And according to the results, the 5 independent variables were significant in affecting nonprofit CEO salary in New Jersey, including length of service, education achievement, mission of organizations, total number of employees, and the fiscal performance ratio. And other independent variables has no significance with nonprofit CEO salary. So part of the hypothesis would be rejected. And therefore, the regression result is as following. About gender. And this table shows the frequency distribution of gender in this study. There were 105 male CEOs and 45 female CEOs. Although in this study there is no significant impact on salary, gender still has impact on work position in nonprofit of New Jersey. Findings. The findings will include, first, length of service, education achievement, total number of employees, and fiscal performance ratio are positively related to nonprofit CEO salary. Second, mission of organizations have significant correlation with nonprofit CEO salary. Third, although gender has no significant impact on nonprofit CEO salary, gender still has impact on working position in nonprofits. And fourth, service program ratio does not have impact on CEO salary. It means higher CEO salary will not lead to poor service performance in New Jersey. Limitations. In this study, the sample was pretty small. Only 150 nonprofits was included. And the small sample makes the data a little bit unbalanced, such as gender in this study. There are more than 100 male CEOs and only 45 female CEOs in this study. So this may cause some error in measurement. And data. during the research, I found some unreasonable information from organizations' financial report, including Form 990s. This might be some working error in the organizations, or maybe some unethical behavior in these organizations. And special contribution, it means this study ignored other factors such as CEO's individual influence, special contribution to the organizations. So the limitations of this study may cause some bias or error, but can be acceptable. Recommendations. Funders and publics are curious about non-profit CEO salary, and it is difficult to let all the funders and publics to agree with 6 figures or even more salary of non-profit CEOs. With proper external audit, founders and the public should consider the performance of the organizations and CEOs. We cannot separate salary from their performance. And for non-profit organizations, the most important thing of organizations is that they should make effort on achieving their mission with efficient management, financial accountability, and transparency. In addition, organizations should set up specific standards of salary and establish an independent salary committee which is responsible for setting appropriate salary level and also has the responsibility to review and audit CEO's performance. And this is part of my reference. And thank you.